So, welcome to the next episode of our wonderful pirate campaign. I've lost track of the numbers at this stage, so we must be far enough in it. And no one has died yet. Well, I can say that. I believe that the death toll was 3 mugs and 1 Edric, so...
Something like that.
No, not in full yet.
No.
3 out of 4.
3 out of 4 mugs and
we
1 out of 2.
can handle that last one if you want.
The originals are still with us. So that brings us into our brief recap from the last episode, where you found the source of where all the manticores which was coming from, deep inside the ruins of what was the old city. You found a chamber that had been set up as a magical experiment to try and duplicate large items. There were notes, something along the lines of not allowing organic matter to enter the ritual circles, which unfortunately happened multiple times. The end result was versions of yourselves that turned on you the second they laid eyes on you. However, once they were defeated, Alara managed to read enough of the notes and shut down the magics that were binding these ritual circles into action. You find yourself now in amongst these now very quiet runes. You don't hear any sounds apart from the occasional shifting of sand.
Huh.
Alara is still where she was, sort of knelt down next to the runic circle.
Is that gun that I copied last time, that pistol, is that still there?
Yep, the items that were duplicated and are still around the bodies.
Ooh. Actually, am I still tied up?
Oh, that's a good question.
Mug, you had actually managed to free yourself.
Yay!
With a little bit of help, because the last I
Mug is
remember...
free.
The last I remember of Mug had brutalized the remains of Edric.
Ah, yeah. That did happen. Yeah.
Can
Mug is free.
Can I go and fetch all of like the because I know that my rifle was copied. I've taken the copy of my rifle as well.
Yep.
Can I take the pistols and such that are scattered around the room as well, and just hand 2 of them to a Mug?
Yes, you can.
Go in here. I believe you need these.
Oh, thanks. Can you also teach me how to, make them shoot faster? Because like every time I shoot them, it's like really difficult to get another bullet in.
Yes, I can help you with how to reload it faster. We can practice that on.
Oh yeah, reload. That's the word I was looking for.
I'll help you with that. We'll do some training.
Ah, that's good. Well, I hate you a little bit less.
Why would you hate me?
Well, you did get into my way when I was testing my own limits, and but I guess I took out that extra pressure in me on, and Mug is pointing towards the pulp of former Edric. I'm
Silas,
feeling a lot better now, and then puts his hands on your shoulder, like really big pats on your shoulder.
Idric's gonna choke back a little bit as he looks at what Mug has done, and then he's like, "Yeah, I'm glad that you managed to get that out of your system without involving." And then he points to his own face.
For now, says Mug.
Huh.
I'm sure we'll be good friends from now.
Yeah, probably, ish, I guess. So, what do we want to do now?
Go back to the ship. Do you want to do anything else here?
Well, we can explore. Maybe there's treasures.
Oh, like money. Could be money here.
We did find that necklace, the potion bottles that I gave Wisp. They were potions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Potions. What is a potion like?
They are drinks that help you feel better.
Okay, so they're beer.
Something like that. They're better than beer.
Okay, let's find beer. Let's find good beer.
Maybe there's some good beer here.
In the desert? I don't think so.
But in the remains of a city. Let's go find the nearest tavern ruin. Maybe there's a ruined barkeep.
If it rises from the dead, you can handle that.
Well, as long as he serves me beer, I don't have a problem with him.
Right. Okay. And Mug goes and tries to look for beer around, or any liquid.
I'm gonna start moving out of this room that we're in, and I'm gonna try and find basically any valuables.
So, the room you're in is a reasonable sized room that has the large double doors behind you, and on the other side of it, near where all the desks were, a single door built into the wall. Behind you out in the arena, you can see from the ritual room, there's not a lot of value that you can sort of make on a cursory glance. There's statues and benches. It looks like a large open meeting place or auditorium. You're not 100% certain of its actual purpose.
I'd like to try and look around, see if there's anything that seems important.
In the room you're in, there's desks and cabinets, some of them in better shape than others. There's the long lab tables and equipment on the far end of the room. Rummaging through, you find largely old papers and notes, tools that are used in, you presume, maybe alchemy. But there's no valuables or weapons or any items that you've managed to unearth.
Okay. Wisp, would these tools maybe be useful to bring along?
What is there, Glenn?
Let me just double check your sheet.
There were alchemy tools, right?
Yeah, so a cursory glance would be basic alchemy tools.
Any
Wisp,
good.
if you want, do an intelligence healing check.
Okay. Healing check.
Yeah.
$19.
Looking at all the pieces scattered about, you quickly spot that you could probably put together a fairly reasonable surgeon's kit from
Ooh.
bits and pieces of the tools, some of the glass tubes that are still in good condition and not shattered. Repurposing bits and pieces, you could make a effectively a medical kit that would let you deal with major injuries.
That'll come in handy for when he's getting all bloody again. And we all know who I'm talking about as well.
Sorry, I was muted for a moment.
Oh, good.
I just
Welcome
listened to my
back
mom.
from the land of the muted.
Did anything happen? What did you destroy while I was gone?
We destroyed Mug's ego.
What?
No, the only thing that happened tools where Wisp just realized that Wisp can make something useful out of it for when my Edric Silas dude gets bloodied again.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's good to know. Did Mug find anything?
Mug, from you're looking around the room, there's not an awful lot
Yeah.
of interest until you realize that the versions of you have all the weapons and equipment that you were carrying.
Oh, and all the money as well?
Yep.
So I guess I'm just going to pocket the money. I'm trying to. Did I have any? Wait. Do I have the 300 golds on me?
Oh, holy shit.
Yes.
Most
Or was I
likely,
actually
yes.
carrying that? Because I'm just looking at my character sheet and it says 31 silver, hunting horn, 300 golds.
I believe you do, because I don't believe Mug has been leaving stuff on the ship.
So Mug suddenly. So there are 3 copies of Mug, right?
There were 3 copies of Mug.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
So I have 1,200 gold.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
Edric, it becomes very quickly apparent that Mug is effectively looting himself and getting a lot of money off him.
Mug. Seeing as I shared the loot that I found earlier with you as well, could I have some?
Well, you did kind of steal my kills, but you gave me some guns. I mean, they are worth something, right?
Yeah. And I gave the gold in the room earlier because I found the potions that turned out to be
what?
grenades. In that room where we fell through the roof because I decided that it was important to climb up.
Oh. Oh yeah. Yeah. So how about you have like a chunk of this one and Wisp, you have a chunk of this one as well. I mean, Mug can't actually count. Should we roll for how much he gives to people? Or do you want to determine, Glenn, how much he gives to?
Mug, you can determine how much has been divvied up.
to make it easy, 300 each,
Okay.
and then Mug has 600 gold.
In that case, here you can have some extra bullets from me, and I give Mug like 20 bullets because I carried a lot of them on me anyway.
Ooh.
So I'm like, here, some bullets
Oh,
and
yeah,
some
I've not
gunpowder, so that
actually
you can
been-
actually use it when we learn to reload quicker.
Oh yeah. Actually, I've not been keeping count of bullets. That's actually a good
Well-
point.
So far, pretty much every time you shot, then went, takes too long to reload, threw it away,
Oh yeah, I can't do anything.
and switched on. And then I got upset because you threw the gun in the sand, and then I reloaded it for you. So I've been keeping track of the bullets used.
So that's what happened. So you need to use.
Yeah, these are the things that when you use these with the gun will do something. When you don't use these, the gun will just make a cloud of smoke.
That's clever.
Now I'm gonna make sure to actually note this down.
Okay. Yeah, but don't forget to note down 300 gold. Don't forget to note down 300 gold.
Who, me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
Mug
I thought you-
generously gave Whisp 300 gold as well.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean,
But
Mug just gave a pile to this, gave a pile to Edric, and then took a pile for himself. He can't actually count, so I'm just saying that, like, roughly 300, 300, because I don't want. Yeah.
Oh.
He just divided it up the best he could. So I guess the party is rich. Oh, isn't it just like a lot of gold?
I'll be right back, guys.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Let me.
So now, with this many pile of gold, what can we actually buy? Because it seems like a lot of money. I think maybe.
Yeah. My gosh.
So let me just double check. Wisp, you're an outsider as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've
So
never seen this much money in our life, probably. She's like,
yeah.
What?
S- So for perspective for Wisp, and since money would be really hard to come by under normal circumstances, getting a private room in an inn would be 2 silver
Oh my god.
for one night. So this could put you up for like years in an inn.
Yeah, I think Mug probably hasn't even seen a gold in his hands before he got all these gold. So he doesn't really know what to do with them or how much they are worth. He has just seen like his slave owner use these shiny gold things.
It can pretty much buy you anything. My
Oh,
god.
sweet! I'm going to buy beer with it.
You could get quite a lot. Wow.
We are going to have the biggest party once we get somewhere where it sells beer.
Uh-huh. Like, Wisp was just like in shock at this point. Like, she's...
Yeah, because that would be about divide that by 10. 30,000 beers.
Oh my god.
A mug doesn't understand these numbers, so.
So Yeah.
Boo.
Bonjour.
We were discussing how many beers Mug could buy with well, now he has 600 gold.
I guess it's more than 5?
A little
So,
bit.
Yeah, I think so.
Edric, for context, you're aware that the amount of gold that you've acquired for equivalent, it would get you about a week in a ritzy private apartment in the city at 5 gold pieces per week. So you could put yourself up for a few weeks in a nice ritzy apartment, or you could get a whole house at 20 gold pieces a week.
Nice.
So you're aware that it's quite a lot of money.
I had a
Oh,
feeling.
Oh yeah. Actually, Timo, can you put the stats for the guns onto the chat so I can?
Oh
note
yes,
them
of
down?
course.
Thanks.
So I have the stats for one single gun at a time.
Yeah, and now we'll have 2.
Plus. Yeah, but reloading them might be a thing for you.
Yeah, but once we level up, I'm sure I can somehow take quick reload something.
Well, the thing is, the reload is something that I've specifically trained into with what's it called? A talent, I believe.
Oh,
Pistolier's
okay.
talent.
Yep.
Okay, I can figure it out when we have time to upgrade. That's fine. Yeah, let's continue.
Alara's finished reading through the notes, and then she tucks them away. And then looks to the rest of you and goes, should we go and check on the others in the town?
And find Bingo, who's lost somewhere in here.
You see her eyes widen slightly, and she sort of looks around and then realizes that you are quite correct in that one of your companions did not join you down here.
And it's the youngest companion in this group as well. And the most explosive. Yep.
I'm sure that Bingo will be all right, I guess.
You guess.
Well, I haven't heard any big explosions.
Yeah,
Is
he hasn't
that-
exploded himself, so.
But is that a good or bad sign from a Bingo, though? Is the question.
Well, it could mean that either Bingo found socks.
In the desert?
Again, the remnants of a city, there might be someone who's left socks behind. Or maybe the original person who put the manticore there
Oh
had an
no.
obsession for feet. I don't know.
I hope the original person who put the manticore is not here. Because that's the last person Bingo needs to run into by himself.
Yeah, maybe we should find Bingo.
Good idea.
And I'm gonna yell out at the top of my lungs, who likes to make things explode?
Oh, bingo! That's bingo.
You're correct, Mug. Very
Yes.
smart of you.
Yes, I managed to find the answer. Huh.
Could
Oh,
you
clever.
maybe point me towards Bingo?
What point? I don't know where bingo is. Why would I know where bingo is?
I don't
Ask
know.
your friend.
Yeah. That's a good idea. And I'm gonna pull out my pistol and aim slightly above Mug's head.
There is no reaction for a little bit. Until Alara cocks her head slightly and looks at you and says, "What are you trying to achieve?"
Me? Me?
Yes.
Nothing. I'm just cleaning my gun.
Alara's now just pointedly looking at you. I see a lot of aiming and not a lot of cleaning.
I'm gonna like quickly make the motions as if I'm dusting off the barrel. Like pulling out from an inside pocket in my coat, pulling out like a little rag and just cleaning the barrel, all the while pointing it slightly above Mug.
She
Is this
looks.
how you clean your gun? And Mug takes out his
Oh,
gun
no.
and points it at Edric and starts cleaning it,
Slightly-
like scrubbing it.
Slightly up. You should always aim above a person when cleaning your pistol.
Oh, right. Mug just turns it right up to the ceiling.
Much better, much better.
Alara's
But
now
as
just.
he's scrubbing at it, it is just going back down eventually. Just flopping.
Alara-
Every now
around.
and then, Silas will take a little step to the side.
Alara's just sort of watching this, sort of eyes flicking first from Edric, then to Mug, to Edric, as just, what the hell are you both doing?
Cleaning a mug, cleaning my pistol.
Don't you think our pistols are clean now, Mug? Look how shiny it is.
If you say so, yeah,
Yeah,
it is
I
clean.
think we should put them away.
Right, okay.
So I
Let's
tuck
put
it
it
under the
away.
belt that's across my chest.
Oh, does Mug have a belt?
I believe
You
Mug
have
does
just
have a
holster
sash.
on your hip.
Yeah. It probably has a belt. And it's not listed, but he's wearing rags still, I think.
Oh,
Or did he update his wardrobe? No, I think we didn't get the time. So
I
he's still
think-
wearing rags.
I thought, weren't you in the clothes shop where Bingo got the socks? And he's got stuff.
Yeah, I thought
Oh,
you were.
yeah. Yeah, did he actually buy some clothes?
I'm sure he did.
And maybe I just didn't record it.
I believe that you did update your outfit. At the very least, your crewmates would have helped you.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, Alara was with you guys at that point. because she also bought clothes
yeah.
then.
So basic clothes.
Yep. Alara looks at you, Edric, and says, I think I'll need to talk to you once we're back in the privacy of the ship.
Me?
Yes, you.
Okay.
And then eventually I will probably talk to our friend Mug here as well. But you first, and she sort of prods you in the chest.
He's gonna hold his hands up and try to look all innocent, but he can't keep his laughter stifled. So he'll just stand there with his hands up, grinning.
Now, I believe we were initially intending to find our friend Bingo. I guess our best bet in that regard would be to see if there's any trace of him at the beginning where we came in.
Okay. Let's go that way then. And Silas is gonna walk off, but like in completely the wrong direction because he's a bit distracted from like all of the Mentacores that we killed and the adventure that they just went on.
Alara just shakes her head, raises an arm and gestures in the opposite direction and says, Edric, dear, you might want to turn around. We came in that way.
Oh, okay. And he's gonna like pull out a pistol, turn around, and just like start moving that way with the pistol forward.
She just shakes her head and goes, I cannot wait to get back outside.
Yeah. So are we going back to the ship now or the town? If we go back to the town, we can buy all the beer. Let's go back to the tavern and buy all the beer before we go to the ship, says Mug.
That's a good idea.
So you make your way out into the courtyard and via the garden that you use to enter it. Along the way, you notice that there is still that eerie quiet throughout the entire cavern. There's no longer the flapping of wings and the occasional roar of manticore. You squeeze your way through the passage at the back of the garden. Mug turns sideways on and shuffles. And then you find yourself in the sand-covered street that makes its way up to the alley near where the building you climbed in. Walking along, it's clear that at this stage, the only footprints coming are your own.
Bingo. B-I-N-G-O and bingo.
we
What's his
were looking
name?
for. Oh, we were looking for bingo, right? Forgot
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
I guess we can't find bingo. Let's go back to the tavern.
It's eerily quiet.
I want to drink beer.
Aren't you concerned about your companion?
I'm sure bingo is fine. They can look after themselves. They're not a child.
Yes, they are.
Are they? I thought they were just small.
No.
Then again, Mug, you also thought there was water beneath the boat when we were flying.
Well, it's a ship. Of course there would be water. It's a fair assumption to make.
It's literally called an airship.
Well, there we go. You fancy person having all this knowledge. Showing off how clever you are. I don't do that. You don't need to do that either.
No, you just want to fight everything with 2 legs. Or 4.
So, what I understand from this is that we need to prove Whisp wrong. We need to find something with 6 legs and kill it.
Do not seek out someone with 6 legs or more, sir.
Can I look around for the spider?
No.
Do a perception check.
No.
Oh, are we all doing perception checks?
If you're looking for something for more than 6 legs.
Which is the opposite. She's like getting really concerned.
I think I didn't find a spider.
Oh, Malik, it'll be a scorpion.
You immediately start looking around for spiders, scorpions, anything with 6 legs.
Oh, wow.
In your enthusiasm, you miss that there is a bit of collapsed wall and you walk straight into it.
Ooh.
I'm gonna turn around and just with this very smug grin on my face, look at Mug and go, see, I found something to kill with no legs.
You walked into a wall.
I'm pretty sure it
Even
just
the wall
bested you.
defeated you. Yeah.
I attacked an item with no legs. It counts.
You didn't attack it. You were fooled by it. You're less clever than a wolf.
I attacked it with my head.
Oh, look what I found, says Mug. What did Mug find?
So, Mug, you find a tiny spider web with a small spider on it.
See,
Ooh, stop
see,
it!
I found a spider. No.
Stop it!
No, we are not killing the spider. Why do you want to kill the spider?
Because it has more than 4 legs and we want to prove Whisp wrong.
It's not a monster, though. Though if you bring that near me, I will hurt you.
Can I, like, try and...
There. There.
You can try and pick up the spider.
No.
I'd like to do that and toss it towards Wisp.
Hey, this is my spider. I found it. Mug is trying to protect the spider from being tossed.
Do you want
Wisp
to
is
toss the
getting
spider
further
at
and
Wisp?
further away.
So, Alice, are you still trying to grab the spider?
No, I'm making a motion towards it, and as soon as Mug says no, I'm gonna go like, okay.
Alaris, it's safe to come back over.
Lara just sort of looks at this all and goes, "It's safe."
Well, this was something.
That it was. Are we good to go now?
Well,
Yeah.
I was always ready to go and drink.
I'll put my hands in my like pockets, and I'm gonna walk along slightly behind the group.
You make your way.
We make our way.
Hang on. You make your way along the remainder of the alley and street through a couple of collapsed walls and find yourself at the building that originally Edric climbed up the top of. And as a reminder, Edric, there were items in there that you had made a mental note of.
Can I climb back into that room?
You
Because they
can,
were the...
but you also remember the door's still open.
Door's still open.
You opened it from the inside.
Oh, yes. Can I just take the door?
Yes, you can.
Could I go to the... Because these were the spears that we could use on the ship, right?
Yes. There were a number of pikes up against the wall.
Can I, like, collect them, tie them together with a bit of rope, and bring them with me?
Yep.
Okay.
It's a bit of hassle with your own equipment, but you can succeed at
Mug.
doing that.
Mug, you're good at carrying big, heavy weaponry, right?
What do you need me to carry?
Could you help with these pikes, were they?
Yep.
Could you help carry these? Because they could be useful for the ship.
But, like, what do you want to do with them?
I want to bring them to the ship so we can use weapons. Want to board someone.
Okay, but you're buying me a beer.
Okay.
Mug, does Mug have to roll to see if he can?
Mug can handle it. Mug also, from memory, also already has one.
Yep.
Okay.
Because he picked one up. So all in all, there's 8 pikes.
Okay.
So
You.
that's including the one that Mug already has?
That's including the one that Mug already has.
Okay.
From what you can see, this appears to have been maybe a guardhouse or something in its past. It's very hard to see amongst all the wreckage and ruin, but just the way it's set up seems to give off that vibe to you.
Also, the fact that there's 8 pikes neatly stacked against.
Yep. You spend probably about 5-10 minutes gathering the pikes together and tying them into a safe bundle, and Mug shoulders them all as one batch.
Nice.
Alara's just watching this all, patiently tapping her foot. She looks at Wisp and goes, "Remind me not to get lost at any point."
So, as Mug now carries the pikes, I'm gonna go, well, we're done here. Where do you want to go next to find Wisp?
To find Wisp. What?
Wait, we already found Wisp. There you are.
No. Oh, for goodness sake, Edric!
Wait, do you mean Bingo?
Yes,
We were looking for Bingo.
yes,
right?
I meant
Yes,
the one
yeah.
we were looking for.
Ah,
Alara,
that's clever.
Alara's just going to kick a little bit of sand and say, "Shall we at least try and find where his footprints diverge from ours?"
That's a great idea.
Oh, there are footprints. Who found the footprints?
Oh boy.
This is gonna be a long day.
You see Alara almost give a sarcastic response before she just sighs and says, "Everywhere we've walked, there are footprints, Mug."
Really?
Let's go back to the place where we all knew we saw each other last. How does that sound for a plan?
What wasn't that like just before here?
Yeah, let's go. Let's move. Come on.
So,
As
As
I
you-
turn around to leave this room,
Yep.
I look at that big rock that my ribs have met closely.
Yep.
And I just grab my ribs and just groan a little bit. And then I follow the rest out of the room.
Yep. Everyone can roll a perception seeing check.
This perception is a number. I think. Yes, that's a number.
Right.
Oh,
You make your way down the sandy road, and initially, now let's see what those rolls are.
not great.
We did very well. So basically, I did best and I only rolled a 12.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's all right. Alara is compensating for you all a little bit. Alara stops and points up along the path, and says, "Bingo's footprints, are those them?"
Ooh.
And then she turns and punches Edric in the arm and says, "That wasn't nice."
Ow. What wasn't. Never mind. Are they indeed Bingo's footprints?
From what you can tell, they're small footprints that were following yours, and then they've diverged. Right where the tunnel starts to open up into the city.
Huh. Maybe we should follow those.
You first.
Yeah, that's good. I don't
Okay.
care.
So I let Mug go first because Mug is strong.
And Mug is carrying all the pikes.
Yeah, so basically Mug is heavily armed.
Is it still quiet?
It is still very, very quiet.
Except for the loud explosions. But
So the footprints don't go very far before they meet a section of the rock face that has collapsed downwards, and a very, very tiny tunnel sort of breaks away. You see that Bingo's footprints have gone in. You're not certain if he was looking for something or running from something, but he's gone down a child-sized tunnel.
Oh, great.
Wisp, at this
Well,
point,
it's not like we can get in.
you notice Alara trying to grab something off your shoulder.
Huh?
At this point,
Alara?
she blinks and
spider!
What?
There's a spider! And I'm gonna point to Wisp's shoulder.
I'm gonna like freak out and go.
Alara's going to be attempting to grab it off you.
I'm gonna be like freaking out and thrashing around like.
Which means that the spider will probably like move.
Am I able to try and get it off?
Your thrashing makes it disappear from your view.
Right.
Somehow that's the worst thing you could have said about spiders, I think.
Well, it's trying to hide.
I will make you do a willpower check, Wisp.
Oh no.
And we'll see.
That's a 10.
Right, you're in a panic, and you know that Alara is trying to say something to you, but you're too busy. You want this spider the hell off you.
Can I just double over laughing?
You do, and then Alara sends a bolt of magic just whizzing over your head. She doesn't even look up.
What's wrong?
She just looks back at you quickly and says, "You know exactly what's wrong."
So I'll try to like stand up again while still laughing. And I'll just move over to Wisp and I'll just go, relax, relax. This
Okay,
spider,
let me get at it. I will just swat that spider. And
the spider
Mug
isn't real.
goes with a pike.
Right.
Don't do that, Mug. The spider isn't real. I made it to get Wisp scared a bit.
Can I
What?
slightly.
You created a spider.
Well, yes, it's just a bit of copper wire that I've bent to look like a spider.
Oh wow, that's really clever.
I'm gonna smother you in your sleep.
See, that's why I sleep with my room locked.
Alara just looks at Wisp, then looks at you, Edric, and smirks and says, "Do you need help?"
Any
See,
and
that's,
all.
Oh,
see, that's
Oh,
when
they're-
Silas's eyes go big, and he just steps away a bit.
they're going to work together to get you, Silas. You're dead now.
Ah. Uh-oh.
This is why I sleep alone. Except when I'm drunk. Then I don't.
Can I like collect the copper wire spider again?
Can I slap him?
Yes, you can.
No, I'd like to fold it out so that it's no longer a spider. I'd just like to get my copper wire back.
Edric, you pick up your piece of copper, and as you stand up, Wisp slaps you clean on the face.
You did
Oh.
kind of deserve that.
That was deserved. Yeah, that makes sense.
What is wrong with you?
Well, you have to admit it was kind of funny.
Maybe for you.
Wisp, I promise you, that was funny only once.
So you're going to do it again?
What?
I'm not gonna do it again to you, Wisp.
Is that a promise?
Yes,
Well, wait. So who are you going to do it to?
I'm not sure if I'm even going to do it again. It was fun this time, but like, See, I knew we were in a place where no one would damage us. Besides
Well-
maybe Wisp going insane.
We can always fix that.
Me going insane?
No damage, nobody doing damage. Mug can fix that easily.
Right. So are we going to the tavern to drink now? I'm thirsty.
Mug, Bingo went through this tunnel. Maybe we should follow. And I'm gonna look at the tunnel, and I'm just gonna look to my shoulder, and then to my other shoulder, and I'm just gonna look to the tunnel again, and I'm gonna go,
You think you
Yeah.
can fit in there?
No,
that might be an issue.
Silas, look. This is hopeless. Bingo is gone now. We might as well just go and drink.
I'm just gonna look through the tunnel as far as I can see my head, like in the entrance hall.
Looking along the tunnel, you can see that it's very, very narrow and small where you are, but it seems to widen out at the other end. You can't quite make out much because it's not a straight path. It's a mixture of tumbled rock and sand, but there seems to be some light at the other end.
You know what? The only way to get him out is to smoke him out.
I'm gonna yell down the tunnel, Bingo! Bingo!
You don't hear a
It's time to
response.
smoke him out.
Alara
Bit
looks at
diverted.
you all and goes, perhaps we can find someone in town that's a more appropriate size to try and find what's beyond there.
Oh, we have the perfect person for the suicide mission.
Do not suggest, Sen.
How did you know I was gonna suggest?
I could see it in your eyes.
I mean, I don't really care as long as we get beer in the town.
Perhaps we can ask in the tavern as well where that went. I'm certain that there are locals
Yeah.
as well that remember what this city once looked like.
Let's go. Let's go and get a drink. After a
feel-
job well done. Guys, do you think they are going to see us as heroes now that we defeated this, like, manticore thing?
They're either gonna see us as heroes, or they're gonna die and feel like we're the villains.
What? You were cutting out a little bit. Or they're going to...
They're either seeing us heroes, or dying thinking we're the villains.
Oh. I don't really get that, but
I
let's
pull
go
out a
and drink.
pistol and I go, we're gonna make him see us as heroes.
How that works? Sure. I'm sure you know what you're doing.
Yep, just shoot up the bar and you get free booze for everyone.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Let's party.
Sounds good. You alright
So,
with
I
that plan,
guess-
Wisp?
Yeah.
I was not paying attention.
We're going back to the
I'll
town to
take that as
party.
a yes then. I'll take that as a yes then.
I'm not agreeing to anything.
We're shooting up the bar so that we can get everyone free booze.
What about
They'll
Bingo?
What?
Don't you care about Bingo? Where are we kids lost in the tunnel?
Bingo can take care of himself. He's a good
Uh-huh.
adult
He's
self-sustaining
someone.
boy girl thing squirrel.
Squirrel.
I don't know. I haven't seen Under the Mask. Could still be a squirrel.
Hey, I think Bingo is fine. Or dead. Either case, we don't need to worry about him.
Alara just raises an eyebrow and says softly to herself, "Yeah, definitely not getting lost."
Right. We need to find someone who can fit in there. And it's clearly not going to be me or Edric.
Yeah, so we must get some beer first, and then ask people on the way to do it. That was the plan, wasn't it?
Perhaps we can find someone in town that can assist. Maybe they know
Yeah,
a different way to get
As
through
well as
to there.
beer.
Rescue mission first and then beer, but I do agree with we should probably go and get help.
Well, we can do both at the same. I mean, we don't even know if it needs to be a rescue mission. Maybe he's just like having a sleep in there. I don't know.
Why don't you go check then?
I'm gonna yell one more time down the tunnel. Bingo! Someone's touching your socks.
There is silence from the other end of the tunnel.
No, I'm Silas.
Silence.
Don't bring back another one. That's all we need.
Let's just go back to town. The most likely place we will find someone to help us is the tavern anyway, so let's go to the tavern.
Okay. And in the meantime, I'm gonna like make little drawings in the sand of like a hand grenade with a question mark and then an arrow. And then like, we are here.
Alara watches in confusion for a bit and then realizes what you're doing and then starts giggling.
I do it about every 5 meters.
After
Yeah,
about the
okay.
fourth
Immediately
one,
At the end of the tunnel, by the way.
at the fourth one, Alara sort of glances at you and says, "I think Bingo would get the point by this one."
Well, I just want to make sure that Bingo doesn't take a wrong turn somewhere.
I'm certain Bingo saw something that caught his eye. We'll just need
Yeah,
to
that's-
find out how to get there.
That's exactly why I'm trying to get these, so that whenever this catches his eye, nothing else will.
You may as well put a coin on each one.
You know how much that's going to cost me?
Oh wait, doesn't Bingo like these coffee beans? You could be putting
Oh,
down coffee beans.
I
Are
have
you
a
following
plan.
that?
I don't have any coffee beans, but I do have something else
Ah.
that I have infinite. Every
What
now
is
and
it?
then, I'm going to put a like small metal bullet down.
Oh, but aren't these expensive?
Yes, but I have infinite of them.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
So you leave a trail of bullets
Yes,
as you
because
walk.
Bingo will understand that it's me. When it's that many bullets, Bingo will understand that it's me.
So every couple of steps, you just drop a bullet into the sand. You make your way up the ramp and out into daylight, and it's exceptionally bright now that you're back out in the open. It takes a little while for your eyes to adjust again. You find yourself out near where the well is, and you can see that it is still bubbling away. You walk past it through the shattered buildings at this end of what you now know as the ruins of the city, and up the ramp towards where the new town has been built.
Us strolling back into town.
You make your way up the ramp and find yourself on the edge of town. You can see that there is now lots of people out and about, some of them moving manticore bodies and others just enjoying being outside for the first time in a long time. Edric, there are manticore bodies everywhere.
Ooh.
Some of them have fallen from great heights, and there is mess all over the streets.
Wait, messes in blood and gore.
Yep,
I'm gonna, like the scarf that I always have on me,
yep.
I'm gonna just put that around my face. I'm gonna look up to the sky,
Yep.
and every like 4 seconds I'll be like, don't look down, don't look down, don't look down. And I just make my way as much towards the city center as I can without actually looking at the floor.
Yep. You feel a hand on your shoulder, and a very, very soft voice from Alara says, "Some things don't change, do they?"
Wait, what? The sound cut out.
You feel the soft hand of Alara on your shoulder, sort of guiding you so that you don't have to look in front to stop from tripping.
Ah.
And she says softly, "Some things don't change, do they?"
I'm afraid not. I do want to try and conquer this, but this is... Huh. And just...
Edric,
Yes?
is there a particular reason that you don't like blood?
Well... Yes and no? I mean, blood is always bad, so... Maybe that's a part of it. But also, like, I don't know. It just started one day and...
Just one day? Like there wasn't like a traumatic event or something like that?
No, not even much.
Quite odd. Have you ever thought of like seeing a specialist or something?
Well, I did ask my father, but well, we all know how my father and I ended up.
I can imagine.
So
Th- th-
that's
there are
not gonna work.
healers. There are healers that help with like fear of stuff that can cure you of your fear of things.
Well, if we find one, I'm willing to try it, but
Hmm.
I
Particularly in
never
this
heard
sort
of things like that.
Yeah, we should seek someone out to try and help you with this because you're always going to be facing it given the kind of person you are. No offense, dear.
Silas is just gonna like break out laughing, and he's like, "Huh, yeah, I do seem to attract this kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
huh?"
So you make your way through the streets. Silas, you're just occasionally nudged in one direction or another to guide you around a particularly gory mess. For the rest of you, you can see that some people are already ripping off the boarding and barriers that were on windows. Some people are trying to like pile large manticore corpses into at least a singular spot away from their houses. Others are rushing about trying to sort of restore some semblance of order to the place.
Can I just, as we like reach the town center,
Yep.
where there are more people, I'm gonna make a little bow, not realize that that means that my head will go down towards the floor. See all the blood everywhere, choke back some more, like, and then look up and just go, "You're welcome."
The center of town is an absolute riot of activity. You've got press gangs of people trying to drag manticore corpses away from buildings. Others are shepherding people out of some of the larger buildings like the tavern. Others are rushing around trying to scavenge all the supplies together that are needed for those that have been hiding up for a while. And yes, manticorpses. The nearest to you sort of look and you get a couple of sort of smiles and nods, but for the bulk, they're either too busy or too far away to have noticed.
Can I just fire my pistol into the air?
As you go for your gun, Alara's going to put a hand on your wrist to sort of give you a look of, are you sure you want to do that?
Well, shouldn't they know that their saviors have arrived?
By the looks of it, some of them are starving and have been holed up for quite some time. I'd suggest give them the chance to enjoy the first moments of freedom they have.
Yeah,
Well-
and we need time to get beer anyway. Let's just go to the tavern.
Okay. But if the barkeep charges me, I'm gonna shoot him.
You make your way into the tavern that you first set foot in. It is a mess and a riot of activity. The barricades have been torn down in some places. The occasional table has been righted and there's some chairs put near it, and a couple of people are working furiously around them. Up one end of the tavern there is... no, you do not see Bhajiri at the
Okay.
moment. You do see a couple of the sailors. Some of them seem to be helping with the work required by the townsfolk. In the most part, they're just ripping down barricades, writing heavy furniture back to its usual place, and helping drag manticore corpses out of the tavern.
That seems useful. I'm just gonna give them a pat on the back as they move past me.
Some of them nod, and then you notice that one of the twins is sort of overseeing the crew that are there, and he looks up from his work to you and says, "Was that you lot? One minute we're fighting these bastards, and the next thing they're falling out of the sky."
Yeah, we had the same thing. We were fighting them, we killed one, and suddenly all of them were dead.
Yeah, and suddenly we have all the coins now.
His eyes
Well-
light up a bit at the word of coins. He's like, now that's a tale I'd like to hear.
Also, I
Well-
got this, and I'm just gonna pat my brand new bag.
Like, how many manticores did we kill in the end? Like, it was a good fight, but then I had to fight myself. That was even better.
He shakes his head and looks at the rest of you and goes, there's times I fully understand this one, and there's times I don't.
Well, I fear that this time, Mug is correct.
Yeah, I had to fight myself 3 times, but then Edric kept killing me.
We fought several Mugs and a me. We'll tell you the story tonight over a good amount of beer.
It
Yeah,
better
the
be.
more important question is, do you have beer? Because that's what we need after a good fight. A good drink.
Well,
I'm gonna look to the barkeep.
it takes a little bit of looking around to find him. He appears to be working up the other end of the tavern away from the bar, where there's a couple of makeshift stretchers and injured. From what you can tell, he seems to be trying to patch some people together.
Wisp.
What?
Well, you're good with like helping people who are hurting, right?
Kind of, I suppose.
Well, you helped me. Could you maybe see if you can help them?
I mean, I can help them end their suffering.
No, we don't want to end the suffering yet.
No, you want to make them suffer more.
Well, no, but
Alara just sort of looks at you, Mug, and says, I think what he tried to say was, we can heal them.
that's the
Oh.
word.
Oh, with like magic.
More magic, and there's also more mundane means to patch someone together.
Oh yeah, like doctors.
Those, yes.
I heard of them. I think they exist.
She's going to look at you, Edric, and say pointedly, I'm going to go over and help. You behave.
Of course, I always do. And I give her a little smug little bow, curtsy
Well,
kind of thing.
we can just have a drink, Edric. Let's have a drink. Good
Yeah, that
beer,
sounds good.
good beer. We have all the money for the beer.
Hey, barkeep.
Alara walks
Oh, and
over.
you
and-
were going to buy me a drink for carrying the pikes, Edric.
Yes, of course.
Alara walks over and has a quiet word with the barkeep, and then turns and starts actually using her magic to tend to the injured that are gathered. Although she can only seem to be dealing with one at a time, and there's a slowly growing number of injured and bloody townsfolk and fighters being brought in. The barkeep walks on over and looks at the two of you, Mug and Edric, and says, so I got told that the two of you are the reason these bastards fell out of the sky.
Yep.
Yeah. I hope you're happy.
Oh, no. It wasn't just the two of us. It was also Wisp and Alara. And I'm going to point at them.
Well, that one can have a drink on the house regardless, and she gestured towards Alara.
Oh, we can have a drink on the house.
Yes, you can. I'll have to go and rummage for it because I'll be honest, when we ran out of water, we started drinking through my stock to get by. But there was something I had sort of squirreled away, just on the off chance that we lived long enough.
Oh yes, definitely. That's what I like to hear.
Pull up his pew and I will go fetch it. And with that, he turns and walks off.
I'm just gonna lean against the bar and look around.
Around you, you realize that the tavern is still sort of being used as the headquarters of sort for the townsfolk. The far end of the tavern, where there was perhaps a stage and dance floor and space for people to be merry, is now effectively a triage ward with makeshift bedding on the floor and people being brought in on makeshift stretchers. Alara's now working between the different people and seeing to the worst first. Some of the townsfolk are helping in various ways. In most cases, they're just trying to bandage up the worst that they can come across. It takes about 5 minutes for the barkeep to come back, but he comes out of the cellar with a pair of bottles, which he then plonks onto the bar. He looks at all of you and says, "I'd offer you a glass, but unfortunately one of the manticores came through the window and destroyed my stock, so until then, unfortunately, we drink the old-fashioned way." And with that, he cracks the tops off the bottles and offers it to you.
That works as a mug.
I'm gonna raise it, and I'm just gonna go. To our continuous survival.
Yes, to our survival and good
And,
fights.
Yes, that too.
Cheers.
Cheers. And with that, I'm gonna take a big swig.
Yeah, Mug is also enjoying the drink.
Wisp, you okay?
I'm just worried.
Worried?
Bingo is
Have a
still
drink.
up.
Oh yes.
Enjoy yourself.
Good point. Should I go find the captain or maybe someone from the crew to at least have them help look around here?
Maybe. Yes. Anything's better than nothing.
Yeah. I'm gonna just ask the people in this tavern as well. Do you happen to have any shorter people that could help us with something?
The barkeep sort of raises an eyebrow and says, "No, there's not many in the way of the halfling kind here."
Huh. You've seen the small one that was with.
You mean that wasn't a child? Hard to
the
tell
one
under that
drinking-
mask.
Yeah, that one.
Oh.
Well, we're trying to well, that one crawled through a tunnel that's roughly half my size, so I'd get stuck, and we kind of need to make sure that Bingo is safe.
Yes, I'm really worried about what if he's hurt or injured or scared or alone and
We'll make sure to find him in time, her in time, it in time.
Well, I mean, he's either already dead, it's not our problem, or completely fine, it's not our problem.
Mug, he is a part of this family.
I'm gonna glare at Mug.
There's a family here. Where is the family?
Oh my
Mug
gosh.
is looking around for a family.
We are the family.
What?
We are family.
I don't understand.
Hi.
As a crew on our ship, we're very much like a family. We need to
But
look
you're
out
not
for
you're
each
not
other.
dwarves. And also I've not seen my family for a long time. I don't even know if they're alive.
That's where we come in. We are the living part of a family.
But no, you're not dwarves.
We're just
it's unfair because this is a plot thing that I can't just mention yet, Glenn.
So
Wait, what?
Oh, there's a thing that Silas in character doesn't know yet about his backstory. Really funny, this comment.
Ah.
And
so
I broke for a bit.
Does he have some dwarven heritage?
Yes.
It's the
Oh,
beard.
boy.
That's the giveaway, isn't it?
Yes. So I'm gonna mention this as out of character knowledge because I broke already, so I might as well just mention it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He's half dwarf,
Oh.
as in that's his race.
But you're still.
So is he related to Mug then?
Oh gosh.
Is this the big secret?
I have no clue. I
Or is that
basically went-
racist to assume?
I basically went, one of my parents is a dwarf, the other is a human. Good luck, Lynn. Make it work. So I have no idea. I legit have no idea.
That could be a big revelation. It is funny.
I'm sorry if it was, and I now spoiled it with this, Glenn.
it's all good. You will
I
find
just
out.
broke too much.
You will find out what's going on when the time comes.
It'll be fine.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, there's still so many secrets about Mug's family as well. They could be anyone.
Were they the Manticores?
No, they could be any dwarf.
Oh.
Well, Mug for a short while had 3 twin brothers.
What?
Oh, but they're all dead now. Yeah. No, I think Mug doesn't understand the whole found family thing because
Yeah, I had
they
the
didn't
idea.
really do. Yeah, they didn't
Trying
really
to
do
explain it
families.
didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, in the gladiator pits, they didn't really do family stuff.
They didn't? There
No.
wasn't like a bring your kid to work day?
Not
Well,
how you
unless
put
they
it, no.
reference the lions.
Oh, God. That's a mental image and a half. So about this time, a very excited town person comes rushing through the doors and says, "We finally got the water working again."
Ah, good job.
He grins at you, Silas, and says, "Damn sight easier when a manticore's not trying to chew on your ass while you're working on the pipes."
Yeah, you can say that again.
With that, he rushes out the door again to find potentially the next household to let them know. A flurry of activity happens over where they're working on the injured, and you see that they're now bringing up containers of water and cloths so that they can clean as they work.
That's a smart way of doing it.
At least they didn't use the alcohol, even though that would probably be better.
That's a fair point as well.
The
You know what? They
barkeep
shouldn't use the alcohol.
the barkeep sort of looks at the water and then glances back at them. Truth be told, we were starting to run low on the booze as well.
So we just saved you in time then.
Well, we could have probably lasted a little while before things got too much more desperate, but we were starting to run out of options that didn't include a suicide mission into a nest of manticores.
It wasn't really a suicide mission. It was good fun. Well, unless you count the 3 other me who were killed.
um,
He,
But that was all Edric.
Huh?
Well, Edric killed me.
the barkeep doesn't
3
really say
times.
anything, but he's just sort of watching this.
The manticores were fine.
Technically, it was you killing me.
No, I just destroyed your body. You also killed yourself.
they
Oh,
killed
true.
each other.
He
It was
looks.
just one big killing party.
He looks across at you, Wisp, and says, "It's normally at this point I cut someone off."
It's been a very strange day.
You're telling me.
Hey, at least we saved you.
So like, how did this whole manticore problem start? Now that it's solved.
Well, as you can probably guess, we get our water up from the old spring that's up where the old city used to be. The first we found out about the manticores was when we had a quake and it damaged the pipes. The crew that went up there to fix the water supply got attacked. Since then, there's just been more and more of the bastards, and they're hungrier than ever every time we fought them.
Right. So you don't know who made all the manticores?
Who? We thought there was a whole damn nest of the bastards breeding up there.
Nope.
Oh no, no.
If only it was that.
What do you mean by that?
They-
Well, basically there was this machine that, or runic circle, I guess, that was used to copy things and beings. Which is why Mug was talking about killing us.
It basically
Well-
could duplicate anything that was within it. Hence why there were so many manticores out of nowhere.
There was a manticore strapped to the thing. This was aimed.
So when
Somehow.
that
It was magic.
You go
So
first,
Mug.
Wisp.
So when that got killed, then all the manticores here died. Woo.
He looks at the mess and looks at all the injured and says, "You're telling me we lost nearly 200 people to the same fucking manticore?"
Well, copies
It was
of the
also
same manticore.
injured.
There hasn't
It was
been
also
like
injured, wasn't it?
Yes, its wings were damaged.
Yeah. It couldn't even fly.
see before all this, there wasn't like any strange happenings or kind of unextraordinarily dodgier characters than your regular kind of folk.
We don't go up to the old city much. It's dangerous up there. But there was nothing apart from the quake before that swarm of creatures descended on the town.
Queen. Just a queen.
But if there's not been a magic user in this town in, well, frankly, before it was a town, there used to be a college up in the old city. It was the damn mages that brought the damn walls down on us.
Huh?
I'm very sorry, but I'm gonna have to tag off. I'm falling asleep.
All good. What I will say is I'll leave it there, and we can pick up with how you go finding Bingo and Bingo's wild adventures, hopefully in the next session.
Ooh, that would be good.
Yeah. Okay. And then we can have the rest of the explanation the next time.
Yep.
Or did the barkeep finish the explanation?
So he will just explain that the place that you were, the very center of the old city, used to be a mage's college. Back when this was a city that had a couple of thousand people living in it. However, something occurred. There was large explosions and the entire cliff face fell onto the city. They rebuilt out of the ruins and rebuilt a town that has been on the cliff face for better part of the last 100 odd years. So since then, they've not ever let magic users stay for too long in town.
No one say anything to Alara. Oh gosh.
Damn.
So with that, I'll get a yo-ho from the lot of you, and we'll pick up this
Yo-ho.
adventure next time.
Yo-ho.
Yo-ho!
Yo-ho.